Well, hello. We're coming to you live from Houston, Texas. Um, I'm trying to start this new um, thing called GQ Ministries. Um, I'm going to try to bring a Sunday school lesson every Thursday um, for this complete year of 2019. Um, this is my first time actually doing something like this, so I hope that I can help someone uh, with these Sunday school lessons. Like I said, the ministry is called GQ Ministries, and it's a message of hope. And we just want to let everyone know that God still lives and He's in control. And just look to Him for whatever you need. He's there at a time of need. He's everything you need. Okay, our Sunday school lesson for this week is called Steadfast Love. And when you think of steadfast love, um, love. Just think of love. Love trumps everything. When you think of love, there's no greater thing in this world than love, as we're going to find out in this Sunday school lesson. We're going to jump right into our Sunday school lesson with the intro. And I'm going to read the intro, and if you just bear with me and just try to open up your minds, and we'll see what we can get out of it. This week's Sunday school lesson is actually coming from uh, 2 Thessalonians 2:13, 3 through 3 and 5, and 2 John 4 through 11. My intro goes something like this. The gospel of Jesus Christ has always faced oppositions. As Paul traveled the Roman Empire, people from pagan backgrounds opposed anyone who abandoned pagan worship. And that's so typical of today. You're going to always have opposition when you're trying to do something right or when you're trying to do something for God. It's always going to be an unbeliever. It's always going to be someone that's negative that's going to try to deter you from doing what God said do. And that's just how it is. That's just anytime that you're trying to do something positive, it's always going to be naysayer. But we're going to always know that we can just never pay attention to the naysayer as long as you look positive, and think forward to what God can do for you. Just always be positive and know that God got you, whatever you're trying to do. Just like in this lesson, it said those Greeks, those from Greek cultures tried to preserve a pantheology of Greek gods, while the Romans argued both for their own set of gods and for the mandated worship of Caesar as a god. Even Jews living in cities Paul visited reacted angrily that the gospel of Christ required formerly Jewish Christians to continue obedience to the ceremonial and ritual laws of Judaism. Some 40 years later, John faced the same opposition as the bishop of the churches of Asia Minor. By this time, many rumors and half truths had arisen to explain the resurrection of Christ in ways that made sense. Um, Paul wrote that the gospel was foolishness to those of a Gentile mindset. People simply do not rise from the dead, so no matter what Christians might claim, the truth had to be something else. This theological tug of war made new converts vacillate. They would go to church on Sunday, hear the gospel proclaimed, and leave with refreshed determination to live for Christ. As this week unfolded, however, some gave in to world pressures. Sound familiar? And that's true. A lot of times, like I said, we go to church, we get a good word, we want to live for Christ, and then the first negative that we get, first thing negative, we lose it. And that's what we as Christians has to try and always remember, that there's going to be negative, and we can't lose it from the first shot of negativity that we get. In this text, um, the aged apostle John encourages Christians to hold to their faith and to the convictions of their heart, as they were bombarded with the various threats from the Romans and Jewish authority from other religious influences. John writes to pull them back to the day that they first believed. So, and like I'm telling you today, and that's what God's telling you, hold on to your faith. Hold on to what you believe. We believe in Jesus Christ, the death, burial, and resurrection. Hold on to that. Don't let nobody talk you out of that. Don't let nothing that's going on in the world show you anything different. And I just got a question. It's just something to think about. My question is, to everyone that's watching me, what does God's agape mean to you when you think of your faith relationship with God? And what agape is meaning agape love. So what does that mean to you? And my first answer would be, um, there's no limit to what God can do. There's no limit what God can do. There's nothing too small, nothing too big, nothing so low, nothing so high. God is like the all in all. He's our everything. So it's nothing too big for God. Nothing. So that's how I would answer that question. Um, it's kind of like this. You have a cup of water, and that agape is, you got this cup of water, and you fill that cup all the way to the top. You can't put no more water in that cup. That's what God's love is. It's full to the top. It ain't a gap, it ain't a space in there, because everything in that cup is full. That's God's love. It's full. It's full of love. It's full of grace. It's full of mercy. And you can't beat it. Okay. So, see, our scriptures right now, we're going to go right into our scriptures. 2 Thessalonians 3, 1 through 5. And it reads, "Finally, brothers and sisters, pray for us, so that the word of God, the Lord, may spread rapidly and be glorified everywhere, just as it is among you." Number 2, "And that we may be rescued from wicked and evil people, for not all have faith." Number 3, "But the Lord is faithful. He will strengthen you and guard you from the evil one." Number 4, "And we have confidence in the Lord concerning you, that you are doing and will go on doing the things that we command." Number 5, "May the Lord direct your hearts to the love of God and to the steadfastness of Christ." Now, those scriptures was 2 Thessalonians 3, 1 through 5. And they had a lot of, there was a lot of good things in those scriptures. But the main 3 things that I want to bring out in those scriptures are, it was 3 words that really, that we need to pay attention to. And that was love, steadfastness, faith, faithful, and faithfulness. Those were the 3 words. And so when we think of, we say love, the definition of love is unconditional. Um, the word unconditional means that there are no exceptions or no limits set. To love unconditionally is difficult. It was a difficult thing. And most humans aren't good at that. But true love really does love without trying to change the other person. And that's something that is so true. We know that most Christians aren't that good at that. That's something that I have to work towards myself, because we have a habit of only loving those who love us. We have a habit of, when you do me wrong, I'm done with you and I don't want to have anything to do with you. And that's not what we call love. That's not true love, because true love is unconditional. It don't change. And that's something that in these scriptures, that's what Paul was trying to get the people to see, that they have to have true love, and you can't waver. Uh, thank God that we thank God that He had true love for us and He didn't waver for us, because if He actually treated us uh, like we treat each other, we'd be in bad shape. The next word was steadfastness. Steadfastness is, you are sure, you're dependable, reliable, consistent, unwavering, steadfast, staunch, steady, imply a sureness and continuousness that uh, uh, continue that be dependent upon. Steadfast is literally means fixed in a place, but is chiefly used figuratively to indicate undeviating consistency or resolution. Steadfast in the truth. So when you steadfast, I mean, it's the fact of you steadfast, you steady. That means, like, hypothetically, say we had there was you're the captain of a ship, and you're going to Hawaii, and you're on a straight line to Hawaii, but there's a big iceberg in the way. You're gonna have to deviate that ship around that iceberg and then somehow get back on track. And it's just like, as an example for us as Christians, you be a steadfast Christian, you're gonna always be on track as far as for God. You're gonna live right. You're gonna live a godly life. Not saying that you're not gonna get off track, but the thing with it, when we say steadfast, is the fact that you might get off track for a minute, but you're gonna always go back. You're never gonna get too far away from God. You're gonna always be on that right track. You're gonna always try to stay on the right track. You're gonna feel bad when you're not on the right track. And it's gonna always be something in your mind that's saying, "Hey, this is where I need to be." And that's steadfastness. And then we have faith, and everybody know, um, when we say faith, faith is what we call faith is. Let me see here. Let me see. Let me see. Faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of seen unseen. Confidence or trust in God. So we have faith. We have faith. Well, we should have faith. Faith is the evidence of. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen. So a lot of times we put our faith in certain people and certain things, and then we always, and sometimes they let us down. But you know that God's faith, when you have your faith in God, He'll never let you down. So that's faith. But then the definition of faithful is, you're you're true, you're devoted, you're staunch, you're constant, you're loyal, imply qualities of stability, dependability, and devotion. So when you're faithful to God, you have all those characteristics. You're devoted, you are constant, you're loyal, your qualities of stability, your dependability, and it's like God can depend on you. Not only God can depend on you, your fellow Christians can depend on you. They know you're gonna be there. They know that you're faithful. They know that you're dependable. It all goes in one. So hypothetically, if you're a Sunday school teacher and you're on the teach that Sunday, nobody's when they know you're a faithful Christian and a faithful person, nobody's waiting and wondering is he gonna make it. He's gonna make it. They know you're gonna be there because you're faithful and you're dependable. That's what we need to be for toward God. He wants us to be the same way, faithful, dependable, uh, devoted. When we say staunched, that means loyal and committed in attitude. You have a great attitude. You loyal. You committed. I mean, that's faithful. And then faithfulness is the concept of unfailing. Um, let me see. Let me put my glasses on. Faithfulness, the concept of unfailingly removing loyal to someone or something and putting the loyal into consistency. Practice regardless of extenuating circumstances. Um, and that's what faithful is. Regardless of the circumstances, you still there. Faithfulness. Regardless of what I do to you, you still there. That's how God is towards us. And all these are definitions of love, and this is how God is towards us. And what I like about all of these um, definitions, well, let me back up. We still got agape love, and that's unconditional love that transcends and persists regardless of circumstance. So that is a big, 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 big thing when you say agape love. Um, what I like about all of these, the steadfast love that we just described, all of them have something in common. And that is, regardless of the circumstance, regardless of what happens, the love never changes. It never changes. It never wavers. It's not like us. It's like, you know, uh, you treat me wrong, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. I can't show you the same love. And that's something that I, as a person, have to work on because I have a lot of love in my heart to give to people. But if someone do me, we have a habit of someone do you a certain way. That's how you treat them according to how they treat you, and that's not what the kind of love that we need in our heart. Regardless of how a person treats you, you still treat them with love. Agape love is the greatest love. I mean, it's kind of like hypothetically, you want to go out with your friends. You already got this trip. Y'all gonna go out. Y'all going on this cruise, and this is a husband and wife, and hypothetically, and then your wife she gets sick, and she don't want you to go on the cruise for the simple fact that she's sick. So agape love is no matter what's going on, no matter what you had planned, you're gonna put it off for the bigger cause. And the bigger cause is the fact that your wife is sick or your significant other is sick and they need you. So no matter what the circumstances, you're gonna show love. And that's the kind of love that we all need in our hearts and we all should be striving for. That agape love. The love that, like I said, it's a full cup. Your cup is full. You can't love no greater than that. It's just no greater love than the agape love of Jesus Christ. And that's the love that I want. That's the love that we need. That's the love that we need to enter into the kingdom of heaven. When we all get to heaven, it's gonna be so beautiful because everybody there, I mean, it's nothing but love there, you know. And the love of Jesus Christ is just the greatest love of them all. You know, it's the trump in spades. You know that the high joker. I mean, God's love is the high joker. It trump everything. It ain't no greater love than that. You can say whatever you want to say, but when you talk about God's love, we can close the Bible right now. It's over with. We can drop the mic. There's no greater love. And we need that as Christians today because we have a habit of there's no love in this world. You know, we see what's going on with our presidency. Uh, we see what's going on with just things in the world, and we see how things happen at the border and how it's just no love. And God commands us to love. It's going to be a price to pay when we can't love, because God showed us love, and we should show each other love. That's what this whole lesson today is all about. It's about love. I'm going to read a couple of little tidbits here. It says here, it kind of goes back over these scriptures we just, uh, since the word lie at the heart of what both Paul and John had to say to the readers, let us examine each one. And this is basically examining the words that I just examined with you. The one word used in both 2 Thessalonians 3 and 5 and John verses 5 and 6 is agape. The word agape means a sacrifice on the part of one who is loving. Agape can demand hard choices especially when it comes to choosing obedience towards God in the face of pressure of the world around us. Suppose you were offered a major promotion at work that would require you to be away from home nearly every week, but your son is having some behavior problem and would benefit from having you around to guide him. Will you turn down the promotion that you worked hard to earn because your boy needs you, or will you, as so many does these days, simply demand that the teachers at schools straighten him out so you can go for the big bucks? Agape means sacrificing what you want for yourself so God can have his way. And that's something that would be hard because, everybody think that, I got to make money, I got to do this. And, I was one of the ones that thought that, at one time I had a restaurant. I was running 2 locations. I didn't have time for church or anything else. At least that was my excuse, because I had to make money. And I didn't have to make money because God was already providing. But you feel that way. But this was an example of agape, to not take the promotion and stay with your kid because your kid needs you. And a lot of us find it hard to do, to show that type of agape love. But that's what God wants. Let me keep on here because we got about 10 more minutes and I got to get done. The second word was, like I said, it's considered steadfast, and we've already went over what does it mean? What it does not mean is faultless. A ship commander orders the helmet to steer steadfast to Kauai. It does not mean that the headsman must keep the ship on an absolute arrow straight course. If the iceberg blocks the course, the headsman will steer around it. But as soon as the ship is out of danger, the headsman gets back on course for Hawaii. Christians often stumble into sin without deliberate intention to do so. But a steadfast Christian will not deliberately give him or herself over to a prolonged pattern of sinful behavior. Steadfast means staying on the course towards the goal of salvation. So just because you fall, that doesn't mean that it's over. You just get back on course. You just always stay on course. You know, we all gonna fail as Christians somewhere because none of us is perfect. We all have a sinful nature, and God knows that. But He gives you the option to either stay out there or get back on course. So let's just try to stay steadfast. Finally, let us consider faith. Faith is the unseen evidence that God is real and that He will accept His, uh, and that you will accept His will as your way of life. There are two ideas expressed in this text. First, it undergoes God is faithful. He strengthens those who trust in Him. Secondly, the confidence that Paul alludes to in verse 4 is trust in God's ability and willingness to protect and preserve believers. This trust leads to trust in God's love for you and to adopt His purpose for your life. Simply put, you can believe God and accept what God allows to come because God is loyal. Uh, Second, John continues the idea of divine faithfulness as the writer expresses joy to find Christians holding fast to their faith. They are following the Father's commandment for them to hold to God's unchanging hand. Next, Paul wrote to preserve an evil men, the spirit that is the polar opposite of the spirit of Christ. Each writer faced his own gallery of folks who perverted the truth uh, of the gospel. Each one saw the evil one who lurked in the shadow of the various deceptions. Each apostle warned his readers to be on guard against deception, and those who advocated for them, as well as against spiritual power that lay behind them. Paul does not identify specific deceptions which he wrote in Thessalonians. Uh, but one thing about it is uh, there's always going to be non-believers. There's always going to be what I call naysayers. There's always going to be people that whenever you try to do something right, it's always going to be somebody negative around. And don't let that discourage you because we know that God is faithful. Okay, so our next scripture is coming from 2 John 4:11. And number 4 says, I was overjoyed to find some of your children walking in the truth, just as we have been commanded by the Father. But now, this is number 5, but now, dear lady, I ask, not as though I were writing you a new commandment, but one we have had from the beginning. Let us love one another. And this is the main scripture, number 6. And this is love, that we walk according to His commandments. This is the commandment, just as you heard it from the beginning. You must walk in it. So God wants us to walk in His love. Love, like I say, love trumps all. If we don't get anything out of this lesson today, just let us know that we got to love one another. We got to love our brothers and sisters. Number 7, many deceivers have gone out into the world. Those who do not confess that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh. Any such person is the deceiver and the Antichrist. Be on guard so that you do not lose what we have worked for, but receive a full reward. That was 8. This is 9. Everyone who does not abide in the teaching of Christ, but goes beyond it, does not have God. However, whoever abides in the teaching of Christ has both the Father and the Son. So you want to abide, you want to have God in your life. We don't want to be one of the ones that, like it says here in 9, we don't have God. Number 10, do not receive into the house or welcome anyone who comes to you and does not bring this teaching, don't listen to it. For to welcome is to participate in the evil deed of such a person. So it's just like, you know, if you if you're not a smoker, if you're not a weed smoker, but you're hanging with weed smokers, you welcome them in your house, it's just like you are. If you're not a thief and you're hanging around thieves, it's just like you are. If you're not a non-believer, if you're a believer and you're hanging around non-believers, it's gonna rub off. Association cause assimilation cause association. So you shouldn't associate with non-believers. Actually, we have to associate at times with non-believers, but we should always be trying to bring them to Christ. But you don't want to make a habit of associating with non-believers. You want to associate yourself with believers. Um, so, out of this lesson that we should get today is that Paul and John in these scriptures was trying to. They faced opposition from deceivers because whatever they were trying to get, show the people that they should love, they always had deceivers that's trying to put something negative into their brains. It's kind of like what Paul said. You know, whenever he desired to do good, evil is always present. The devil is always going to be there to try and deceive you. The devil is always going to be there to try and show you a different way. The devil is always going to give you a different outlook other than the right way. And a lot of times the devil's way, it seems good, it seems like the right way, but in the end it's destruction. And and a lot of times God shows you that. So you have to know God and know where you stand in life and um, stand on it. Stand on God's love, stand on God's strength, um, because God's love will strengthen you and it protects you. Um, um, this is just something I want everybody to remember. God calls us to walk with Him. However, there are those who seek to deceive the believers into accepting a watered down theology of God. They seek to convince believers of an easier path that diverts